You're barely out of the shell, and your heart is already hitting 200 beats a minute. That ain't because you're scared, and it ain't because something's wrong. It's just the price of admission for being you. You weigh less than a paperclip, you're blind as a bat, and you're tucked into a nest made of spider silk. The only thing on this green earth that can stretch while you grow. And that nest? It ain't fancy. It's smaller than a shot glass, woven together with plant fibers and bound with spider web, perched on a branch so thin it bounces in a light breeze. Your mama built it in about 6 days. She pressed the inside smooth with her own chest, curved it just right so it forms around you like a little cup. She didn't use tools. She didn't use instructions. She just knew. In the nest next to you, there's an egg that's never gonna hatch. You don't know that yet. You don't know nothing. All you know is that the clock is ticking, and the clock is your stomach. You aren't just hungry. You are a biological furnace that's always 5 minutes away from running out of fuel. Fast forward a couple of weeks. You figured out the only rule that matters in these Florida woods. Eat or die. Your body needs high-octane fuel every 15 minutes of every waking hour. If you miss a window, your system doesn't just get tired, it starts eating itself. It burns your muscle, then your organs, and then the whole machine just stops cold. Your mama doesn't give you lectures. She shows you. She hovers, she pulls back, she hits the nectar. You try it, you miss, and you smack face first into the pedals like a drunk at a bar. You try again. You miss again, but closer this time. On that 4th try, you hit the sweet spot. The nectar touches your tongue, and for one tiny second, the screaming hunger in your gut goes quiet. Then it's back. Go find another flower. Now, that's the contract. That's the whole thing. There's no weekend, no day off, no slow morning. Every single waking moment of your life is a negotiation between your wings and your stomach. And the second you lose that negotiation, it's over. No second chances. No ambulance coming. Just silence where a heartbeat used to be. When you finally take to the air for real, it's a straight-up miracle of engineering. You don't flap like those lazy crows. You rotate your shoulders in a figure-8 motion that no other bird on the planet can replicate. You can hover perfectly still. You can fly backwards. You can stand dead still in a 20-mile-per-hour headwind while the whole world moves underneath you. Your wings are beating 50 times per second. 50. In the time it takes a human to blink, you've completed 3 full wing beats. The sound they make, that low, mechanical hum, is where your whole name comes from. You're the hum. Your tongue is its own piece of engineering. It's forked, and it's longer than your beak, and it coils up inside your skull like a spring when it's not in use. When you hit a flower, it laps up nectar at 13 times per second. Not sipping, lapping, like a tiny feathered machine that evolution spent millions of years tuning to absolute perfection. For a second, you feel like the king of the canopy. Then a cloud blocks the sun, the temp drops 2 degrees, and that feeling is gone. The furnace needs wood. Move. Now here's where it gets real dark. When the sun goes down, you can't keep that 200 BPM pace. If you tried, you'd be dead by midnight. So your body does something that looks like a straight-up crime scene. Your temperature drops 50 degrees. Your heart rate craters from 200 beats per minute to less than 50. Your breathing slows so far down it's almost undetectable. Your feet lock around the branch automatically, a reflex so you don't fall. And then you're just gone. You aren't sleeping, you're in torpor, essentially dead to the world. Someone could walk right up and touch you and you wouldn't flinch. You're just hanging there on that branch with locked toes, your tiny body burning through the absolute bare minimum of calories just to keep the core alive, praying the owls don't spot you. You do this every single night of your life. Not because you want to, because anything that couldn't handle this shutdown died off 1,000,000 years ago. The ones that survived are the ones whose bodies learned to play dead and come back from it. You are the descendant of survivors, which means this horror show is now just Tuesday night for you. Waking up is its own ordeal. It takes up to an hour of pure shivering, muscles firing over and over just to generate enough heat to turn the lights back on. You can't rush it. You can't skip steps. Your stomach is completely empty. You're burning your last reserves just to warm up enough to move your wings. The second you're functional, you don't look around. You don't stretch. You don't sing. You aim yourself at the nearest flower and you go. Because you are running on fumes and the margin between alive and dead right now is measured in seconds. You'd think something this small, something this fragile, would lay low. Stay quiet, avoid trouble. Wrong. You're furious. You've got a chip on your shoulder the size of a gator, and you wear it everywhere you go. Last week, you spent 40 minutes, 40 solid minutes, chasing a red-tailed hawk out of your territory, a bird 400 times your size, a bird that could swallow you without chewing. You didn't care. You came at it from above, dive-bombing its head, screaming the whole time, and you kept after it until it crossed the tree line and disappeared. Why? Because you've claimed 3 flowers. Just 3. That's your whole world, your entire food supply, your survival strategy, and you will break your own beak before you let another animal touch them. Other hummingbirds, bees, butterflies, hawks. It doesn't matter. You see something near your flowers, the switch flips, and all that fragility goes right out the window. That aggression isn't ego, it's math. 3 flowers is exactly enough to keep you alive. 1 less flower and the margin disappears. So you defend it like your life depends on it, because it does, literally every single day. But you aren't the only one playing this game, and you aren't always the predator. You've hit this same flower 14 times today. You trust it. You know the angle, you know the stem, you know how long the nectar takes to refill. You come in from the left, like you always do, already thinking about the next sip, already calculating the next flower. You don't see the praying mantis. It weighs exactly what you do. It's been sitting on that stem for 4 hours without moving a single muscle. It doesn't blink. It doesn't fidget. It is better at waiting than you are at anything. And the moment you commit to that approach, the moment your flight path locks in, it's already too late. It grabs with both forelegs simultaneously, targeting the neck. It's over in under a second. Some birds feel something wrong at the last moment and manage to break free. They fly off shaken, missing a few feathers, and they never visit that flower again. The ones that don't break free just vanish. The colony keeps working the flowers. Nobody holds a service. Nobody notices the silence. The world just continues, indifferent, like you were never there. That's the other side of the contract. If you make it past the mantis, if you make it through the cold, if you survive 5 or 6 months of this daily grind, then August hits and everything changes in a way you can't explain and don't question. You start eating like a maniac. You can't stop. You're hitting flowers constantly, more than your normal pace, more than the hunger demands. Your body is packing fat onto your back, your belly, your throat. You're doubling your weight. You don't know why you're doing it. You just know you can't stop. The same way you know to migrate south before the frost. The same way your mama knew how to build that nest. It's written into you, deeper than memory, deeper than thought. Then you hit the coast, and ahead of you is the Gulf of Mexico. 500 miles of open water. No land, no flowers, no rest, no rescue. You've never seen the ocean before. You don't have a concept of 500 miles. You don't have a map, a compass, or a plan. But something in your gut says go, and so you jump off the last piece of land, and you aim yourself south, and you fly. You fly through the night. You fly through the next morning. You burn through 2 weeks' worth of fat reserves in a single crossing. If the wind turns against you, it doesn't just slow you down. It drains your remaining fuel faster than you can cover distance, and there's no calculation that saves you. If a storm rolls in off the water, same outcome. If you get even slightly off course, you miss landfall, and there's nothing after that. Every year, workers on oil rigs 200 miles offshore find these tiny birds huddled on the railings, completely spent, shaking. They're hundreds of miles from any shore, and they've got nothing left. Sometimes a worker puts out a bottle cap with a little sugar water, and that's enough. The bird rests for an hour, drinks, and then launches back into the sky to finish the crossing. Sometimes it ain't enough, and the bird just stays there until it doesn't. The ones who make it land in the Yucatan like they're falling out of the sky. They hit the first flower they can find, and they drink for what feels like forever. Most of you will do this crossing for 3 years, maybe 5. You'll rack up your miles, survive your mantises, endure your torpors, chase your hawks, and one season you just won't make it back, and that'll be it. A good run, a complete life. But then there are the legends. Researchers in West Virginia caught and banded a female ruby-throated hummingbird and noted her age, 9 years and 2 months old. She was still flying, still healthy, still making the crossing. Think about what that means. She crossed the Gulf of Mexico 18 times. 18 times she fattened up, felt that pull in her gut, flew to the coast, stood on the last branch over the last stretch of land, looked out at 500 miles of certain death. And she went. 18 nights of open water beneath her. 18 mornings of not knowing if the coast was close, or if she was already past the point of no return. She didn't think she was a hero. She didn't know what the number 18 meant. She just knew it was August, and it was time to move. And so she moved. That's not courage in any way we'd recognize it. It's something older than courage. It's a species that got hammered by every force on Earth for 22 million years, and came out the other side still flying, still furious, still hitting every flower on the route. There's another animal out there that makes a crossing like this. No wings, no tailwind, no way to turn back, and it sure doesn't get 18 tries. But that's a story for the next video.